everyone. We do a clap and welcome. Good evening or good morning. Actually, evening for you, morning for me. Welcome, Jaime Blanco from England. So, welcome to the Nick and Jaime podcast. It's been a pleasure. We've been trying to get you on for a little while, so finally we've made it happen. So, yeah, just tell me a little about yourself, who you are, where you're from, what you do, where you live, that sort of thing.
So, good morning. I'm in Australia, Nick. Good evening from Oxford in the United Kingdom. And thank you very much for the opportunity of getting me into your podcast. And I hope I'm up to the expectations. So I'm just an ordinary regular chap who 9 years ago moved to the UK, to Oxford. I was born in Barcelona, where I live up until the age of 23. So now I'm 32. As I say, I've been here for 9 years. I can say I say that proudly. I work for the NHS. It's something that I really take it with a big pride and everything. As you can see, because I'm wearing the scarf at the moment. You have a very nice background, by the way. So I'm a Espanyol supporter. I'm a Espanyol supporter. As I was telling you yesterday in our pre-podcast meeting, I can explain that I wasn't. I'm not an Espanyol fan since I was born. That's an interesting story, because back in my younger days, I was more Real Madrid supporter, but purely because there were no Espanyol supporters around me. And then as I grew up, I got more and more engaged into the Espanyol thing and everything. To be funny with you. So even though my kind of childhood team was Real Madrid, I never went to watch Real Madrid at Bernabéu. Never, absolutely never. In fact, I've just watched Real Madrid twice on a stadium. And guess where both times happened?
In Barcelona, maybe?
Yes. One time in Madrid, one time in Cornellà. But by the time I watched them in Cornellà, and I think that was it was a Copa del Rey game in 2014. I was already, with my 2 feet into the Espanyol thing. So there was no coming back. But it's funny because I normally say I started getting more engaged into the Espanyol, into supporting Espanyol, or following Espanyol in a way, since the new millennium, since the 2000, when they won the Copa del Rey in Mestalla against Atlético de Madrid. But it was, like a relation, like back and forth, like supporting them, always watching them, but always more focused on Real Madrid. But it gradually changed. It came to a point in which I questioned myself why I was supporting a team that was hundreds of miles away, when I had a fantastic club at about 20 minutes from home, traveling by train, and I could watch them pretty much whenever I wanted. And here I am now.
Wow, yeah, and it's interesting, like you mentioned, that transition between being a Real Madrid supporter and Espanyol supporter, and as you may know, I grew up in La Mancha and stuff, and it took me a while to choose a team, but I was always empathize with one team or another, Athletic de Bilbao, Real Zaragoza. I knew, for example, the kids in the street said to me, come on, be Barca Madrid, Barca Madrid. And Zaragoza was an obvious choice for me because it was right in the middle between Barcelona and Madrid. I said, I'm going to be neither, but there was just something that was just something that needed to push me to be a Zaragoza fan. And that didn't happen. And eventually I was an Espanyol fan. So
I think most Espanyol fans actually. I think actually most Espanyol fans, they have a similar background to mine. So you have that group of you have that group of the community, of the Espanyol community, that they support Espanyol because of their parents, and their parents because of their grandparents, and so on. That has been passed down generations. But then you have the other bigger group that they are mostly former Madrid supporters like me. That because obviously they hadn't had the chance to travel to Madrid to watch something, to watch a game in Bernabéu, so they gradually become Espanyol fans for several reasons. And then you have a very small minority of Barca fans, strangely, or former Barca fans that for some reason they turn into Espanyol fans, probably because they got relatives that they support Espanyol, and due to sometimes the difficulties and how expensive the tickets are to go and watch a game in the Camp Nou, apart from the locations that you can that you can actually aspire to have, at the very top of the stadium, in which you hardly can see anything that happens in the ground. Yes. So you will need binoculars at best. So there, and then you have the tiny minority that for XYZ reasons they become Espanyol supporters, and so in the end it's funny because it makes like such a plural family in all senses, both political, both social, and so on. And I think that's the most special thing about Espanyol.
Yes. And talking about special things, Espanyol has had, probably not recently, but definitely 10 years ago or even further back, a campaign called Maravillosa Minoría. Tell us about this. This was quite a publicized campaign. Was it for captación de socios? Was it for like trying to increase the number of season ticket holders, or was it just something that ran for a while, didn't it?
So I think it was a coincidental campaign with the moving to the now not so new stadium, to the Cornellà Stadium after leaving Montjuic. I think it was quite coincidental in time, and I think they just needed to rebrand the club itself. So they were moving to a new stadium. They were getting another home after losing Sarriá back in the late 90s. And I think that from the inside of the club, they obviously they wanted to build up, I believe, a strong brand, or they wanted to distinguish themselves from the rivals, whoever they might be, but we all know who are Espanyol rivals in the end. So they wanted to distinguish. Yeah, you can think a red and blue club.
I'm struggling.
So do I. Terrassa, definitely. So they wanted to. I think they wanted to build a new brand. And raise awareness about how Espanyol, to build up a new personality coincidentally with that move to the new stadium. And I think that's that slogan of wonderful minority, maravillosa minoría. So it has prevailed because now more than 10 years later, still people feels very attached to that slogan. I have to say, however, that I don't like that slogan. I don't really like it.
Really? Wow.
No, not at all.
Why is
not
that?
At all.
Tell me why is that?
Because it lacks ambition. To me, it lacks ambition. Right. Because in the end, yes, currently now, and historically, I think Espanyol has been a minority. You have on the other side of the town, you have a big club with 100,000 plus members, worldwide acclaim. It has won so many titles. Most of the best players of football history, they played for Barcelona again. And then on the other side, so you got the team that nobody wants to support because we are pretty much, and apologies to say that, we are a loser team. I mean, last year we returned from Segunda División, so that doesn't make us as successful as FC Barcelona, But I think it's at the same time, Maravillosa Minoría, it's a way to say, okay, as I say, we are a few, but we are the good ones. But on the other side, you're sending like a very wrong message of saying we don't have ambitions of growing, of getting not Barcelona fans. They are not gonna come. They are not going to support Espanyol. No, they won't ever. Very hardly will happen. Probably 1 out of 1,000 people that support Barcelona will do that. But newer generations that they will be born, and they will need to choose a club if they obviously want to get into football. So they need to choose Espanyol. I mean, Espanyol should think further away in terms of getting new supporters in the future, rather than saying that they will be a minority and they will always be a minority. I think it falls short in terms of ambitions, and that's why I never liked Maravillosa Minoría. I prefer other slogans.
For example, maybe this one. Remember Treu la Lengua?
That was a very good one, I have to say.
Yes, explain this one, because I actually quite like the videos they did, and if I find a video, I'll put it in the description. the campaign. This was definitely a season ticket holder campaign. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember. I remember. Is it still quite linked to the Meravigliosa Minoria campaign? So I think on one side you got, on the very top level, you got the Meravigliosa Minoria, and from there you have different branches, and one of them was Treu la Llengua. That was around, if I'm not wrong, in the 2014-2015 campaign.
Okay.
Or season, should we say? It's just in Spanish, we say sometimes campaña as a synonym of season, or league and things like that, So, so Treu la Llengua I think it was purely an act of rebellion against the majority. That was very well thought, actually, because it was encouraging people. It was encouraging that minority that Espanyol supporters are. It was encouraging them in a very tough moment with Barcelona being so successful after at the doors of the second treble. So they were encouraging them to show some Perico pride, to show some Espanyol pride against everything, against those who usually mock about Espanyol, those who also diminish Espanyol, that disregard Espanyol. Is widely disregarded. I mean, I'm not going to tell you because you pretty much know it as well. But I think that was a very good one, and consequently, I don't know if that was a casualty or not, but consequently, that season, it was a very good season for Espanyol in Copa del Rey because they reached the semi-finals.
Oh yes, against Athletic de Bilbao.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate. It was very unfortunate. I remember pretty well. So Espanyol could have won that game in San Mamés. They hit 3 balls against the post in the second half. And then the second leg in Cornellà, it was played 3 weeks later. And obviously the team it wasn't the same as 3 weeks ago. And Athletic de Bilbao, I think they had the momentum and they just finished the game in the first half, and there was nothing to do.
And the reception was amazing. Like outside the stadium, it was like flares and bengalas and everything. It was like, wow, what a reception for the team. So all the fans were very hopeful. I did I took part in a video encouraging the team in that season for the semi-final of the FA Cup, Copa del Rey, along with another friend of mine, Mark, from Washington DC, and we put this just some clips on, and I think Danny Monti, who's one of the Espanyol fans who does video stuff, and it came out really, really well. I've still got a copy of it. It's just a moment in time. I'm thinking we had the opportunity to get through the final, and funny enough, played FC Barcelona because they got through the final. They played that.
They got through the final. I can't remember who they sent off in the semi-finals. Probably was an average team. Who knows? But I can't remember now on top of my head. Anyway, I think they played that final against Athletic de Bilbao, and Barcelona trashed Athletic de Bilbao because they were playing in the Camp Nou. They were playing at Camp Nou as well. So.
That's coincidentally.
Oh
man. So when you actually moved to England, I'm talking about marvelous minority. Were you able to connect with other Pericos, or how did you get to know other Pericos in England?
So it was over time, actually. I've got a Twitter account, Perico Oxford, RCD Oxford, at RCD Oxford. Sorry for the promotion, but I'll
put it in the description as well. So all good. Yeah.
It's very easy. The thing about Espanyol is it is very easy to connect with people, particularly on former Twitter /X. I refuse to call them X, by the way. So at some point I realized that there was a supporters group in England. I just found the account there, or they found me. I can't remember in which order in particular, but they found me, or whichever way. So we found each other. They messaged me, and it happened to be that, as I live in Oxford, it happened to be that the president, Josep, was living in Oxford. And then we arranged to meet. I think it was for the first game of the 2018-2019 season. We gathered, like it was about 10 of us gathering at one place, and then we met. I met pretty much everybody, all the the core members plus some other ones that they joined that they join every now and then when we do meetings. And then everything started there since then. So we've traveled to watch some games when Espanyol has come here to play some pre-season games. We went to the rather infamous night of Wolverhampton in the Europa League.
We won't, well, I'd say we won't talk about that, but yeah, we might as well. Was that 4-0 or 4-2? I think it was 4-0.
4-0. It was. I mean, on the pitch it was a disaster, but I don't regret of anything of that day. I don't regret anything of that day. Anything.
No, and I know quite a few people who traveled from Barcelona. One of them actually used to live in Wolverhampton, and he went to watch the game. David Palomar. And yeah, it was. I was watching that game at Cheers Bar in Sydney with the son of Joan Collet, Gerard. So Gerard Collet and me, we were watching that game with the Wolverhampton supporters, because I basically got in contact with the Wolverhampton Supporters Club for New South Wales and said, let's meet for this game. You know, this is like a once in a blue moon opportunity to watch a European match with Espanyol and another team. And yeah, you're going to say something.
Yeah, so I can't remember now if it was Gerard or Joan, but during one time at uni, I was a classmate of one of Gerard Collet's sons.
Right.
now that you mentioned him, so I studied journalism, and he was also studying journalism, but I can't remember if it was the oldest son Joan or the youngest son Gerard. Either of them.
I wouldn't be able to tell you. Yeah, no, but he's lived over in Australia for a little bit, so yeah, I've had a chance to catch up in Bondi Beach a few times and stuff. So that was fun. But yeah, so so you mentioned so this group is the Espanyol Supporters Club England. Actually, I noticed you're something, but I have something too.
I think we got the same
scarf. Yes.
Yeah, you see.
This was given to me by there you go. Yeah. Espanyol Supporters England. I'll put that around my neck now.
Well,
and so you became president. What happened? How did you become president, or was it someone was leaving, or what?
Well, very simple. So Josep Maria was leaving and somebody needed to take over. And he asked me if I wanted to say yes. Why not? Why not? Somebody has to do it. And because obviously Josep Maria lived in Oxford before he left for Spain back again. So we would meet not often, I would say, because he had his own routines. But we would meet regularly, and every time we had to organize a meeting, whether in London or somewhere else, so we would speak to each other and try to live together for the place. So, and then one day I knew he was returning because he told me, and he wanted to see me, and actually I wanted to see him as well. So we wanted to see each other before he left, and I knew before that meeting, in which I ordered fish and chips in my local pub, if you're going to put it down this way. So yeah, so after the meeting, I knew that he would ask me whether I wanted to become the president, and I knew I wanted to say yes. So there was no hesitations. There was no hesitation. Yeah, there was no hesitation, and I said yes straight away. He said me, well, you don't need to do much. You just need to, to be like, to be like a kind of PR, just, speaking with this one, and then, just try to, to move things up a little bit. And that's why we came with the idea of, before starting the season, talking with the guys. So I came with the idea saying, okay, guys, shall we organize a meeting at some point just to watch a game? I wasn't thinking of the derby in particular. I was thinking of some of the games. Perhaps one that Espanyol could win, if possible.
Yes, I know. That's always that's a good game, isn't it?
Yeah, but one of the guys suggested the derby because I think around that day we could all meet, and it was appropriate for everybody. So I say, okay, perfect, guys. If you want the derby, it's fine. I mean, in the end, it's all about meeting. I mean, the result is the less important at the moment.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you about the derby. So I'll put the little banner here. So. I'll also see if this works. There we go. So this is the derby that Jaime is talking about. on Sunday, the 3rd of November. I put 3:15, but you know what I mean. When's kickoff? Is it 4 o'clock or is it 4:15? Or
UK time is 3:15, so Spanish time is going to be 4:15, so 4:15.
oh, okay, so that's what kickoff time. You know what? When normally I see times on posters, I go, oh yeah, I'll get there with half an hour later or whatever. So okay, so that's the kickoff time. Yeah, it's in Langley Buildings Walkabout. That Walkabout is an Australian pub, isn't it?
I have no idea, to be honest with you. It was
Okay.
Ramon, one of the guys arranging it. He knew the person he had a connection, let's say, and he knew who could just arrange and provide all the logistics for the pub. To be honest with you, Birmingham is a place that I haven't been very often.
Right.
Perhaps one day just going past the M42, driving towards Wolverhampton or driving up north. But no, it is actually going to be my first time in Birmingham City, because now I recall one moment traveling to Manchester that's coming from Oxford, so you have to drop off in New Street and then just take another train that takes you up north. So yeah, that was actually my only time in Birmingham.
Wow. Okay. I don't think I've actually ever been to Birmingham. I was born in Northwest England in Lancashire, but I've moved around all over the place. And but yeah, I think Birmingham and Wolverhampton and Coventry and Oxford. I've never been to any of where all the members, all your members exist. I was actually going to ask you how many members or how many Pericos are there that you know of in England?
I'm just going to have a look 1 second onto the WhatsApp group, and I'm going to tell you how many people are we currently in the group.
Yeah, I know on the WhatsApp group, I know there's Jorg from Holland. So
yeah. There's
a few international ones.
Yeah, that's the difference. Even people who used to live in England or somewhere else abroad,
yeah, that's right,
and now they live in Spain. Brits that live in Spain and things, and many cases. I mean, we are quite mixed. It's like the Espanyol fan base. It is in the end, so very mixed, very very random altogether. So yes, I'm just looking at the group. Is at the very bottom. It shouldn't be so that low actually.
Whilst you're looking, I'll put the poster up again for
yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay. So currently we are in the WhatsApp group 47 members.
Wow.
47 members of Catalans living in the United Kingdom. Jorg, the guy that you say that lives in Netherlands, Brits that live in Barcelona or generally in Spain, Brits obviously that live in Britain. I think we got somebody from New Zealand as well, somebody from the United States.
Really?
I mean, wow. Yeah. The thing is, so we are 47 people, but not all the 47 are the same. They show the same level of activity. Even myself, sometimes it takes me weeks until I send a message. But no, it is true, and I'm the president. It shouldn't be this way, but it is true. But I'm always aware of what's going on. The problem is, what happens when I watch the Espanyol games. And perhaps I'm going to be prosecuted after I say this, but when I watch the Espanyol games, because of the connections and because sometimes using streamings that they are of questionable, they are there on the verge of the legality. So, so then it could be something that if I have all the groups speaking, if I don't mute the groups that they've got, that they are making comments about the Espanyol games, so then they would tell me when Espanyol has scored a goal, even before I realize.
I know what it's like. Yeah.
So I always try to speak when it's indicated to speak. So and during the games, I just have a look to Twitter. Sometimes I post during the games. I try not to pay attention over there because otherwise they will tell me the game even before I have seen it. So I just want to try to keep the magic.
We have a similar thing here because I run the Pericos, this one. Sorry, this flag here.
Yeah.
This is the flag I made in 2009, I think it was, but I got the color wrong. So it turned out a little bit purple. So it's like we call it the Valladolid flag. I got this made in China, and a friend of mine was there. Said, "Yeah, just let us know what colors." I'm like, "Okay, well, it's blue and white." And he said, "No, I need the Pantone." And this is the first time I'd ever even heard of Pantones and RGBs and CMYKs. So it was a learning curve for me. But it's, we run the group, and we have a similar situation where, don't shout goal on the group. But we've had, we have, I think this is Victor Sanchez or Javi Lopez. I think it might be upside down, actually.
Yeah, it's upside down, I think. So
2 signatures. Oh, this is Javi Lopez, 16.
Yeah, well, is he still playing in Australia?
Yes. I'm going to see him tonight.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
There's 4 of us from the Pericos Australian supporters group that are going to watch Adelaide United versus Western Sydney Wanderers, and we'll be in the Adelaide section. And as the team always does, they always come up to the fans afterwards and chat, and we'll probably have a photo. And I'll see if I can ask him if he's interested in coming on to this podcast one day. That'll be awesome. It might be in Spanish, though. I'm not sure how good his English is, but
in Andalusian Spanish.
Yeah, Andalou. Yeah, no, he's such a great guy. I love him to bits. He's fantastic, and he's been so good to us. And it's like a luxury having the Espanyol player, ex-Espanyol player, playing in Australia is like amazing. It's unbelievable.
He had he was very unfortunate the way he had to leave Espanyol because obviously it was after the relegation during COVID. I felt very sad in the way I didn't feel. I don't remember feeling extremely sad because he left, because I think when things come to an end, things have you have to put that end. You shouldn't extend things further away if because you feel it. I think he was also feeling that he needed to to close that cycle. But I felt very sad because he left with a lot of criticism because of the way he was a captain, because of the performance he was displaying, particularly in that final season. I think he deserved a little bit more because he has always shown so much loyalty for Espanyol, considering that he came from Osuna, from Sevilla, from the Betis Academy, and then he was a Perico. I mean, he was made a Perico at a very adult age. And he has always spoken very well about Espanyol, and I felt very sad for the way he left. Not because he left, because he had to, like Victor Sanchez back in the day and so many other players when the end comes. But in the way he did it, I still feel a bit sorry for him.
I know, and I think he's moved on. I think he joined Espanyol when he was 12 or 14 or something like that. I think it was quite early when he joined the Espanyol Academy.
He was already a senior player. I think he was playing for the second team of Betis before moving to Espanyol.
He came over.
Oh, okay. I think he joined at the age of 20, 21, kind of.
Right. I'll ask him tonight, though. So if you're wrong, I'll let you know. And I also spoke to Victor Sanchez. He was only here one season. He had signed for 2, but he only ended up staying for 1. It was a bit ironic because the second season he would have been with that team. They actually won the league, the A League. So he missed out on a trophy and stuff. But when I spoke to Victor Sanchez, he was still I think he basically said that he was talking for himself. He was made a scapegoat for the for the whole
both him and Javi Lopez.
Both of them. I mean, he spoke for himself. He didn't say me and Javi, but he just said, "Look, I was made a scapegoat." So, what can you say when someone says that? You go, "Sorry." The fans gave him a lot of stick.
That season was a very difficult one. It was very difficult because the fans. I think the fans. I don't know about the board, but the fans, they had put so much. So they put so many expectations on the season. As you can imagine, after 12 years, you return to Europe, you had a chance, and then Espanyol had a very good run in the group stage of the Europa League, and then you find yourself that you are fighting not to be relegated, and displaying a very poor performance every single weekend. So and then you think, so where all the Ruby's glory has gone suddenly within months. it didn't make any sense for anybody.
Yeah. And then it was tough because it was well, you might know I'm an AFC Bournemouth supporter since 1990, Espanyol supporter since 1987. That year, both my teams were relegated, so it was like a double whammy. It's like, oh man, but yeah, it was tough. So you mentioned you meet up in different cities, and you mentioned London, you mentioned Oxford. I seem to recall maybe the odd Coventry gathering as well. Are there any other cities around the UK apart from London, Coventry, Oxford, and obviously this weekend Birmingham? Has it pretty much stayed within the Midlands and London? Is that right?
Yeah, you have to think that most of us, we got a large group that lives in London and surroundings. You got me living in Oxford. You got a few of them also living in Coventry and some areas in the Black Country. Then we got one of the most loyal members of the group who lives in Manchester, and he could travel anywhere regardless. If you tell him he has to travel to Isle of Wight, he would, honestly. Believe me, he would do it. He's a Manchester United fan as well, but that's a different story. So the point is that in the end, if you set up a place, you know that mostly everybody will need to travel. So last time we met here in Oxford, so I didn't need to travel. I just had to cycle to the place. It was fantastic for me. But in the end, it is not like we are all concentrated in one place or in one geographical area. We are so widespread across the United Kingdom, or across England, should I say, because I don't recall on top of my head anybody living in Scotland or Wales.
Yes, there is a group in Scotland, Scottish Pericos in Aberdeen. I've actually met him. I met him 2 years ago when I was in Aberdeen. So him and a few others meet up in the pub there. And they are good friends.
I didn't have them controlled. You can say I have to start questioning myself as a president.
No, so I've just been very active in the supporter group section of the La Federación de Peñas for quite some time. So I was just across a lot of these things, just because I had a passion and interest and wanting to do something for Espanyol, because like I was saying to you yesterday when we were just testing the system, when Espanyol lost that first UEFA Cup final against Leverkusen, I said to myself, seeing the players cry and on the pitch and stuff, and I said to myself, I need to do something. I'm going to do something for Espanyol. So years later, that's my involvement in Las Peñas, el mundo de las Peñas, the world of the supporter groups or supporter clubs. So yeah, I was just interested in knowing, and I love geography as well. So I just like who's where and everything. But,
you can say you have built a legacy for Espanyol, and Espanyol should reward you actually.
It's all comes with the passion and the being a supporter, I suppose, and just using the skills which one has, So it's fun. Now let's talk about the history of the Barcelona Derby. I find it quite strange to call it Barcelona Derby, because we normally, for the last 20 or something years, always call it the Catalan Derby. But because Girona is in Primera División or in La Liga, it's now been, I guess technically it's the Barcelona Derby rather than the Catalan Derby. So it's been quite, obviously, it's Barcelona and Espanyol are founders, one of the 8 founder members of the La Liga from 1928 to 29. That was the first season. But it's been quite unbalanced, hasn't it?
It's been absolutely unbalanced. It's been absolutely unbalanced. In fact, I don't remember myself. I'm fairly young, so I don't remember myself a season in which you can say Espanyol can be equal to Barcelona. Even back in the days, if you remember Joan Gaspar times in Barcelona, which were absolutely dreadful for them. Even in those times, Espanyol was miles away, but many miles away from Barcelona. Yet Espanyol won some derbies. I can remember one derby 2001, 2002 with Tamudo scoring a brace. It was the last game of the year 2001, and they won at Montjuic. It was a good one, but still, Espanyol in those years they never were, anywhere near Barcelona in terms of at the end of the table in La Liga. And yeah, so obviously, the story we've got now is just that the derby is very uneven. It's absolutely uneven. I mean, you can't compare both teams. On the field, they can be compared. Then I think for Espanyol fans, the battle is a lot different. I mean, it's on a different topic. It's more about the pride of supporting, as you say, the minority, the humble club. I could say, before, to compare it for your English followers, for those who follow regularly the Premier League, I can say, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but Espanyol could be probably even today could had some similarities to the Manchester City before the arrival of the Qatari money. Would that be accurate at all?
I don't even think that would become close, because they did. I do remember them saying there were more City fans in Manchester than there were Manchester United, and that's clearly not the case in Barcelona. Plus, you have that whole historical association, Espanyol, a right wing and fascist and stuff like that, which is completely untrue. The fact that Barcelona got 2 gold medals from Franco says that Franco needed Barcelona to be there, to exist, because to make Real Madrid stronger, to have a decent rival. And this is obviously evidence in the 1968 Boletín Oficial del Estado, where the recalification of the grounds of Les Corts, which was Barcelona's old ground, which was Zona Verde, which is green recreational land value or landscape, was re-qualified by the council, but it wasn't enough to save Barcelona from the debt. So Franco's ministers intervened in a local council recalification, and that is still on the Spanish Boletín Oficial del Estado, BOE website, and you can see exactly what happened. So obviously questions, it's very convenient for them to just to give us names and say, look, you guys are, you supported this, that, and the other. But I love history, so basically I studied Catalan football history. And the fact is that everyone had to toe the line.
Yeah. Let me add, Nick.
You're breaking up. Sorry.
Yeah. To that comment, which is very accurate. Let me add one more line. So historically, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Can you hear me now?
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
There's some connection issue, but
I don't know. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
It's just the internet sometimes likes to play up. No, I just wanted to add one more line to what you were saying, which I think is pretty much accurate. So Barcelona historically also, before the arrival of Josep Luis Núñez, it was a club controlled by businessmen linked to the textile industry, which was very powerful in Barcelona and Catalonia back in those times. And all those businessmen, they were all very closely linked to the dictatorship and its accolades, because obviously they were businessmen, they had interest, so they needed to have good relationships with Franco's cabinet. Otherwise, their businesses they wouldn't be viable in any way. So even though it is not false that Barcelona was kind of linked to to the nationalist to the Catalan nationalist movement, there is some true about it. There is quite a lot of true, I would say. It is true that it was, I would say that was more kind of at a fan base level rather than at boards level. So currently the president is Laporta, which has been linked to the Catalan independentist movement. But apart from that, you check all the presidents that were democratically elected since, and taking Núñez as the first one in 1978. Núñez wasn't by any means linked to the Catalan nationalism, let alone the independentism, which is a different thing. Joan Gaspar was actually a conservative. He was a member of the Partido Popular, which are the Spanish Tories. That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. And then, Joan Laporta, after his first term as a Barcelona president, he established himself in the Catalan politics, and he founded his own party, which lasted 4 months, by the way. It was that's absolutely true. He was elected MP, Solidaritat Catalana per la Independència, which translates to the English as Catalan Solidarity for Independence, sort of. So so he founded his own party. He was elected regional MP, and I think a month after being elected, he left. Pure Laporta. Purely Laporta. And then about Sandro Rosell, I wouldn't say that he's got clear political affiliations. Josep Maria Bartomeu, who is from my hometown, by the way, or has family in my hometown, he hasn't got, I mean, at least publicly known political affiliations. But if you check the history, you see that those who have been in charge of Barcelona, in the board of Barcelona, they, with exception of Joan Laporta, none of them have been linked to the Catalan nationalism.
Right, okay. Now, with Bartomeu, is it true that he has some Espanyol links?
Who, sorry?
Bartomeu.
Yes, clearly.
Now, was that basketball?
It was basketball in the 80s. He played for the basketball when Espanyol used to have a basketball section, a basketball club. He played for that a couple of seasons.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, I think that's a great thing.
That's why he's so loved by the Pericos.
That's right. I don't think he won anything during that time. Same as probably, I think there was 3 years. Was it Nicolas Cassos, where Barcelona won nothing for about 3 years? I think it might be the right name. I'm not sure, but anyway, these were great times. I was talking with Matt on Matt's an apology, by the way, because at this time of the morning on Saturdays he's got some family commitments, but so he's an apology. He says sorry he can't be joining, but he did say also he doesn't know anything about Espanyol, so he'd be like sitting there on the side just saying nothing. But oh gosh, I've lost my train of thought now. We're talking about Bartomeu. We were talking about in one of the podcasts, maybe 5 podcasts ago, we were talking about the World Club Cup competition and how that's happening next year. And I said to Matt, the best thing is that, and then I hit the table, that's a drum roll, Barcelona's not taking place. So there's 32 teams, the best teams in the world, and Barcelona's not there. You couldn't believe it. I thought it was the funniest thing ever. Being an Espanyol supporter, Barcelona's not at the World Club Cup. Even Auckland City, which is a part-time club, is there. They get there pretty much all the time because of their size and their location and stuff. But so it is an uneven contest, unfortunately. I did some research. 174 matches, 101 victories for Barcelona. Espanyol have 34 victories and 39 draws. I reckon most of those 34 victories come from the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, because in my lifetime, I only remember 2 that I remember. One was the De La Peñazo, Ivan De La Peña, scoring 2 goals.
The very last one, 15 years ago.
That was 2000, 15 years ago. Wow.
15 years ago.
Yeah, and then one, I think they won 3-2 or 2-1 at the start of their 86-87 campaign. I think it was the start of the season, and that was it. Yeah. So we don't get to celebrate the victory. Yeah. Pochettino, though, Pochettino was very good at getting results against Barcelona. He got a few draws. So
yeah, he got.
was good at that.
I can't remember league games because then and the Pochettino Espanyol also played. I think it was a round of 16s Copa del Rey against Barcelona, and I can remember league games. That victory you say, which is the last one in league. Then there was a draw in the first ever derby in the new stadium of Cornellà, a 0-0 draw with an amazing atmosphere. It was actually a very good game. Espanyol could have won that game, but they, unfortunately, the only chance they had, they just sent. I think it was Callejon sent the ball to the post. Callejon or Osvaldo, I can't remember either of them. Then I think 2 seasons later, they scored another draw. Álvaro Vázquez scoring at the very last minutes.
Yeah.
And also with a controversial penalty for Barcelona that wasn't conceded. It was a penalty.
Oh.
It was a penalty. I admit it. It was a clear penalty, and it's unbelievable why the referee didn't concede the penalty. Absolutely unbelievable.
Wow.
But Espanyol scratched a draw, and that's it because then there was another derby against Pochettino. Well, against Pochettino, but with Pochettino, which was Guardiola's last game at Camp Nou as a Barcelona manager. Trash 4-0, Messi hat trick or 4 goals. I can't even remember. So it was too much hassle to remember that. So and that's it. But yeah, he was good at scoring results, which was, it is relevant to say because it was against Guardiola's Barcelona, being that Barcelona team, the greatest team it was. And yet he managed to get some decent results against them.
And that De La Peñazo was only his second or third match in charge or something like that. He wasn't in charge of Espanyol for very long when he took him to the Camp Nou. And
probably
I remember
less than 5 games. Yeah.
Oh, less than And I remember thinking, what's the point of getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock, whenever it was played? Here in Australia, the time difference is shocking because you've got to get up halfway through the night and watch the game. So that's why I said, people on our Telegram group, don't shout the goals. And the following day, woke up and thinking, whoa! And the smallest guy on the field, which is Ivan de la Peña, heading the first goal, and that was amazing. I had people at work sending me emails that I hadn't seen for ages. Congratulations! That's the effect of an Espanyol win over Barcelona. People know that you're an Espanyol fan, and they'll congratulate you. So,
and I think that win on that season, it was crucial because it is true that after winning at Camp Nou, there were a few games that followed that weren't so successful. I remember a defeat against Real Madrid on the following week. Then, a very dramatic defeat in Pamplona against Osasuna. It was almost over for Espanyol after losing that game against Osasuna. But, winning at Camp Nou against that Barcelona, who was having a real momentum in all competitions, it was amazing for the mentality and also for Pochettino himself, because a few weeks ago before that game, he was assistant manager in the female team. Manager in the female team. And he was told,
I thought he was a manager. Wow.
Yeah, no, he was assistant manager. I think he was a newly qualified manager, and he went there as an intern. And then after Jose Manuel Mané was sacked after 8 games, which were a complete disaster, he was handed over the job desperately because the board didn't know who else they can ask for the job. It was incredible. And then he managed to make the great escape, probably the greatest escape in Espanyol history that I remember.
Yes, because it was we were done and dusted. We weren't going to get out of that one. That was and the thing I liked about Pochettino is that over the course of a few years, he brought in a lot of players from the academy into the first team, and I think that was amazing. And I mentioned to someone before, that was probably the reason why he got signed for Southampton, because they also had a great academy set up, and they probably want to do the same thing knowing what he was like. You know, he hadn't won any silverware as such, but he could actually progress, you know, make the step up for many youngsters into the first team. So that was, that was great.
And also because he's got mentality and he's brave. He's of the style of Marcelo Bielsa. We all know Bielsa because he's an attacking manager. He attacks regardless. If the game ends 5-4, it's fine. It's okay. He wants his team just to attack, to be offensive, to live in the opposite's box, in the opponent's box. You know, Pochettino with a very limited Espanyol, especially in terms of the defense, he was he was very brave. He could say, I remember he would say his players, but I don't know if he would say that literally, you know, but you know, when he was planning the games, you could see that he always he never lined up defensive players if he had, you know, class players just to, you know, to play up front and just go ahead and look for the goal. And most of the times, unfortunately, because obviously Espanyol couldn't have access to, you know, to good goal scorers besides Osvaldo during his time. So obviously they would have plenty of chances. They would miss most of the chances, and then they would end up losing the game because of
the risk,
because of bad luck. Because of the risk.
Because you hear this slogan: the best form of defense is attack. So if you're in the opponent's box and you're controlling the midfield and you're just pushing forward, then that's gonna, you know, benefit your defense and give them a break. But I remember the days of Dani Osvaldo. I think he was signed for €5 million from Bologna, was it?
Yes.
And he was I think for me, he was a relative unknown, and I think he was the first idol since Tamulo, the proper, you know, El Killer, you know, and a lot of the kids. This is the great thing about having decent players, decent strikers. You know, the kids in the playground will say, Osvaldo, you know, and when they're playing football, and we seem to, well, throughout many seasons, we've seemed to lack a goal scorer or someone where the kids, because as kids, you know, you grow up and you want to imitate your football idols and stuff, and so yes, that's what we've been lacking for quite some time. I was going to ask you, for anyone that's thinking joining or becoming an Espanyol supporter who's from England, what would you say? What is the pitch, the PR? You know, you said you were doing a bit of PR. What is the pitch that you would give to that person? Why Espanyol over Madrid or Barca, for example?
Well, compared to Barca, Espanyol hasn't engaged in any criminal activity so far. I'm talking about all the, that's right at the spot. So far, that's something that I would say. So normally, it is funny because when you speak to the English fans here, when I say that I was born and bred in Barcelona, so they rapidly assume that I support Barcelona. Then I have to explain the whole story that no, I support Espanyol. I don't go into much detail about saying that I was a Madrid supporter in my childhood, but I always say that, I support Espanyol, and then most of them, they don't even know that Espanyol exists. At times, so I can elaborate more on the story if I have time and I have a cup of tea with myself, and so we can just have some chitty chatty about it. But if I have 2 minutes and I have to say something, I say, okay, so there are 2 clubs in Barcelona. One of them is decent, and I support the decent one. This is what I'm saying nowadays. Now, what would they say is, now I'm speaking in real time. So there are 2 clubs in Barcelona. One of them is widely known, is successful, but the other one is very passionate. And if you like football and you like a passionate atmosphere and passionate fans, perhaps our stadium is half full, half empty, depends how you look at it. But the fans will never stop roaring, getting behind the team. Cornellà is never silent. No matter if there's only 3-4 people, it's never silent. It's an amazing stadium in terms of atmosphere, which you can hardly find anywhere else, particularly in bigger stadiums. Perhaps one bigger stadium with better atmosphere than Cornellà, Metropolitano, Atlético de Madrid. But this is amazing. Sevilla is amazing. I mean, I feel very jealous. Before you were speaking about how uneven is the Barça Espanyol Derby, and I feel very jealous if I compare it to the Sevilla and Betis derby. Also, my political family, my father-in-law, my brother-in-law, they support Sevilla, and my dream is that one day Barcelona, the Barcelona Espanyol rivalry, resembles even a 10% of what the Sevilla and Betis rivalry is currently.
Yeah, because that seems to be more of a healthy rivalry, doesn't it? Even though Sevilla have been lately very successful in Europe, the Betis. I mean, I always remember the Betis. The Spanish national team always used to play at the Benito Villamarin. Is that right? Or that was the old name anyway, back in the 80s and 90s. That was because it was just
no. Now it's the name again. Now it is the name again.
Okay, because it's changed, isn't it? It changed names a few times, and then, but yeah, they always used to seem to
Villamarin. It was Villamarin, then Lopera, then Villamarin again.
Oh, okay, there we go. I can't keep up.
Yeah.
But they always seem to play there because of passion.
Yeah, and also there's an element in the Sevilla and Betis rivalry. If you go to Sevilla City, now I've been many times because of the person I'm sharing my life with, which I'm very lucky, by the way, for that. So I've been to Sevilla now many times, and if you go to Sevilla City, you pick 3-4 random guys, and you ask them, which team do you support? They can answer, in equal proportion. They can say Sevilla. The other one would say Betis, then Sevilla, then Betis, and so on. It's absolutely normal that people in Sevilla support either team because they are, the local teams. Then you can support either of them, okay? But they are the local teams. If you go to Barcelona, everybody assumes that you support Barcelona, okay? And then if you say, no, I support Espanyol, everything is, but why you support Espanyol? How come?
Yeah, no, exactly.
I mean, why don't you support Barcelona? It's like, Jesus Christ,
What's wrong with you?
Story. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we belong to Barcelona. We are not a Bulgarian team, with all due respect for the Bulgarians, but we are not team from Bulgaria.
Yeah.
We belong to Barcelona.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Sevilla is a prime example. So, but let's talk about La Liga. I noticed that you mentioned that you went to, was it a derby in London, previous Barcelona Derby in London. That was organised by La Liga.
Yes.
And how did that go?
I mean, it went well. I mean, it was a very cordial meeting between Espanyol and Barca fans. And I think the fact that it's all mostly about expats living here in the United Kingdom, mixed with British that happen to support either team. Okay, so it makes it different. This is something that in Barcelona it could not happen in any way whatsoever. It's a lot different. No, it can happen in Barcelona City. In ground zero, it can happen. But in the end, we are here in England. Expats, we are not a big majority. So, and then La Liga is trying to sell its product here in the United Kingdom. Hence, organizing that watch party in the middle of the worst COVID crisis, hitting on that day. Because to put it in context, it was November 2021, so it was 3 years ago. And by that time, the Omicron variant of COVID, it was already hitting very hard. So, but it went well. I mean, it was very cordial. Obviously, then I remember speaking before and after the meeting that even though everything went well and we enjoyed a good time, that time and never again watching a derby with Barcelona fans, because you have to self-control yourself, and sometimes you don't want to when you're watching a game. You want to say something you may regret a few days later, but the meeting was okay. It was very well organized. I have to say now that I take this opportunity to thank Keegan Price. Keegan Pierce, yeah. So I want to thank him because he was very diligent, and every time we had a question or any doubt of any sort, so he was very helpful, and he put a lot of facilities. He just made everything easier for everybody. So and it was a good experience. Sadly, Espanyol lost controversially, but overall it was a good experience.
Yeah, no, I met Keegan. I was in England 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago, and one of my priorities was just to, because I've been in touch on Twitter a long time, and I just want to say hi, have coffee near King's Cross where the offices were back then, or I'm not sure if they're still there, but yeah, no, it's always great to talk La Liga with especially people that work for La Liga, and also have a good relationship with our delegate here in Australia, Glenn Rolls, who lives in Sydney, so that's quite convenient. So that's good. I noticed. I remember, I think it was about a year ago, there's some kind of storm, and Barcelona supporters group in London had a barge or a boat on the River Thames, and it sank. Did you hear about that?
I heard about it. Yeah. It actually was. I can't remember which storm it was, because over the last few years we had torrential storms, which are not really common in this part of the country, as you probably know. Yeah. But after one of them, it was a recent one of them. It was a few months ago. So there was just to put it in context, if nobody knows it. So it looks like that the Barça Peña in London, their meeting point is like a boat. It's a boat in the River Thames, and apparently after that storm, the boat sank.
I don't know if you Espanyol fans should be cheering at the moment.
Well, the material loss is very big. So sometimes it's just, you probably want to joke about it. From the rivalry point of view, you probably want to joke about it, but it's not funny, because in the end, if you think of so much effort, so much money that they put in there, only for
and memorabilia as well, like recuerdos, memorabilia would have been in there as well. So
yeah. If you think in rivalry terms, it might be funny, but I think rivalry is not the most important when something like that happened. And I'm a light-hearted Espanyol fan, okay? So just to put it in context.
I know, as I said, I know a few Espanyol fans. I know I would be like, yay. But did they manage to bring up the boat, or is it still in the River Thames, or what?
I have no idea. Right. I know that it sadly sank, but I don't know if they managed to bring it up.
Because I know there was a GoFundMe or something. There was a crowdfunding campaign to try and do that. So, comments in the description, in the comment section. Just if anyone knows what happened, just feel free to make a comment and stuff. So you mentioned, I've just got one or two more questions, and I'll let you go. Sure. Pre-season tours. Does the club let you know in advance, hey, we're coming to England? or do you just find out like everyone else when there's, because they've been a few times, haven't they? Espanyol.
So I can't remember off the top of my head. So the last time they came to England was to Brighton, and I attended with a few other members.
I know. I remember the result.
Yeah. I prefer not to. I prefer not to. The day was nice. The day was nice though, but it was a sunny day, summer sunny day. It's very uncommon even for the south of England at times. But yeah, so thinking in terms of the result, I went to Brighton, but I went to the wrong place. So I should have gone better to the beach that afternoon. But yeah, so they came to Brighton once. Then a few years ago, well, in 2019, they went to Sheffield, to Hillsborough.
Okay.
Hillsborough, where the very known disaster happened in the 1989 with the Liverpool supporters. Then a few years back, they went to Burnley, I think, and I can't remember. They went to Southampton as well, but I think at that time I didn't know the Espanyol group here yet. And I had a different life, so I couldn't really travel to watch Espanyol over there. The Wolverhampton, the Wolverhampton night as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so there's been a few times.
But I think they played Everton in 2016 as well. I always remember earlier than that, whenever Espanyol went to England, they play all these championship teams, and the level of play of the championship teams is a bit tougher, more physical. So Espanyol always used to end up with injuries after their pre-season tour, like especially from touring England and playing championship teams. I'm thinking, don't do it. Just play Premier League teams. I do remember, though, there was you remember the Manchester United player, Solskjaer, the Danish player.
Yeah.
He had a testimonial. He had a testimonial, and he played Espanyol in Old Trafford. That was 1-0 to Manchester United, but I can't remember what year that was. That was
2007.
2007. Wow.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. In fact, that member of our group that I say that he supports also Manchester United, he told me that he attended that game and he was wearing the Espanyol shirt instead of the Manchester United shirt.
Really?
Yeah.
I think the manager.
His father was wearing the Man United one.
Oh, Man United, yeah. I think the manager was Tintin Marquez, wasn't it? I think so.
Yes. Then it was 2008. Yeah.
Yeah, Tintin Marquez, because I remember. He's now the entrenador de Qatar.
Yeah, with Luis Garcia.
And with Luis Garcia, I couldn't believe it. He was like celebrating winning the Asian, which is the equivalent of the Euros. I'm thinking, what's Luis Garcia doing there? Happy for him, absolutely stoked for him. But yeah, see, Pericos get around, so they don't muck around if they get into other teams and nationalities and stuff like that. Last question. So for any Espanyol fans in England watching this, how do they get in touch with you? How do they get in touch with the Espanyol Supporters Club England?
So we have, for those who have a Twitter/X account, so they can find us on ESCE_RCDE, and they can just message us, and we will respond, obviously. And that's pretty much the way that they can contact us. We are quite active in Twitter, always just posting updates about after the games. If we have any meetings upcoming, like the one on Sunday, so then we also post them in advance. So anybody, whether member or non-member, whether known to us or not known to us, so they can join. And so this is probably the best way to find us.
Starting this Sunday at Walkabout in Birmingham, but otherwise, ESCE_RCDE at Twitter or at X. I still can't get my head around X thing. Just like you, it's not natural.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think I've run out of all the questions and stuff. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thanks so much for staying up and being part of this. So is any other thing any message or anything else you'd like to say before we say goodbye?
Just a couple of things. Just a couple of things ahead of the game. So I think I don't want to be pessimistic, but I think I've never been so convinced that Barcelona will really trash Espanyol. I think Espanyol will have its chances though during the game, and I would be very happy for at least a first half like in Bernabéu. Just to keep some faith alive for the second half. But again, it's a very uneven game, and you see Barcelona is having such a great momentum, scoring 4 goals in Bernabéu, 4 goals against Bayern Munich, 5 goals against Sevilla, 7 goals against Valladolid. So and seeing the defensive record of Espanyol, it's something that it's made me hesitate about the game, but. Again, I think Espanyol will have his chances, and hopefully, I hope that the Virgin appears, that the Moreneta appears, and make a miracle or something like that. And the other thing, now I'm just going to take advantage of this platform to say something. So Espanyol hasn't, since last time they came to Brighton, they haven't played a game in England, a pre-season game, obviously. And I could be, as a president of the group. I could be very delighted if both Espanyol and Oxford United arrange a pre-season game here in Oxford at the Kassam Stadium. I think it could be a very good test for each team, as Oxford United is promoted last year to Championship, and they are doing very well. Plus, I think it will for us also. It will make a very good meeting, a very good gathering in summer. Summer in Oxford is fairly nice if it's not raining, and and given that most of the members, they live quite close to the Oxford and the London area, so it could be a very good place to meet all together. So please, Espanyol, please Oxford United, if you can arrange a pre-season friendly for next for next summer, I would be very delighted for that.
I'll let Andres at the club know, see if he's watching this. And I wanted just to say thank you to you, and also a big hello to Tel and Charlie, the West Ham supporters, and Duncan and Jorg, and of course Ramon and Raymond, and everyone else on the group. I've forgotten names, but you're all in my thoughts and stuff. And great group of supporters. And let's see if Espanyol go to Oxford next season. That'll be fantastic, wouldn't it? All right, so thanks. Força Espanyol, Visca Espanyol, and despite Barcelona and despite them resting some players, who knows? Maybe a draw or an upset's on the cards. We never know. So
I will be very happy with that as well. Thank you very much for the opportunity. It's been a pleasure speaking for you and for all your followers.
Thank you. Likewise, and be in touch. See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
But don't worry,
here we go.
You brought me this little bleed nipple, so we're okay. We're okay.
Right, we're starting.
We're starting.
Yes,
right?
yes. I had a great interview with Jaime Blanco from England.
Brilliant.
He was the president of the Espanyol Supporters Group there, based in Oxford. So that was a really good interview. So we had some Premier League action this weekend, as usual, because it's not international break. So you were watching what? Liverpool versus or Arsenal versus Liverpool, or where were they playing?
Do you know what, mate? I don't know.
In the stadium.
Hold on, we're there. Hold on.
I'm
not Googling it. There's just something on my desk here.
Yeah, sure.
Look, there's this here. There's this here. There's this. It was actually at Arsenal's ground at the Emirates. At the
Emirates, yeah. How'd it go?
Well, mate, 2-2. It was a game. Mate, I actually enjoyed the game. Really enjoyed the game. It was good, free flowing. Saka's goal and Salah's goal. Cracking goal. Well, Saka's goal. That was the first goal. What was that? 8 minutes, something like that. Took it round one of the defenders, plastered it in the top right-hand corner, close corner to him. Such power, it was amazing. I think the Arsenal next goal. No, Liverpool then scored, and then Arsenal scored again. But Salah's goal, it was well played. It was just a well-timed goal. He laid it off, ran, cut in. They put it in. Bosh. Straight in the back. All in the
first half, or was that?
No, that last 2-1 first half to Arsenal, and then Salah scored. I can't remember. I think it was like the 80th minute. I think, mate, round about that time.
Okay.
So, but there was a goal disallowed.
Oh yeah, there normally is these days, isn't it? So what for Liverpool or
Arsenal? For Arsenal, that was quite late on in the game as well. So that'd have been the winner.
Happy. No, he's going to go with his conspiracy theories. Everyone's against Arsenal kind of rant.
Let me just put my tinfoil hat on. Right. No, it was. Look, do you know what? Yeah, again, we've spoken about it before. It's consistency, mate. And there's not consistent rulings throughout the referees and the Premier League. There isn't. And that's not just coming from... Sorry, go on.
Yeah, well, no, don't apologise. So why was it disallowed? What was it?
I think that there was a header that was outside of the box that laid on the goal, right? Now, the Arsenal player, I can't tell you who it was. I think the referee was saying that he leaned. They had to get the VAR involved, and he leaned on the Liverpool supporter. I'll be honest.
On the supporter? What were supporters doing on the field?
No, sorry. Liverpool player. Sorry, mate. Late night. Right. And I'll be honest with you, you go, look, yeah, you can give a yellow, you can give a foul for that, but then you can also go, it wasn't a, it wasn't a, I'm not going to say it wasn't a deliberate lean because I don't know, but it looked like he was going for the ball.
Well, okay, it's one of those ones.
Yeah, but he blew up before the ball went in the back of the net, so it's not like he blew up after the ball, and then you could really go, this is ridiculous. Yeah, but it's what it is. 2-2, it's not a loss, it's a draw.
Yeah, but I know if you, I'm assuming I haven't seen the game. If you watch Arsenal's post-match interview, you'll probably get Arteta. Oh, this is another reason. You know, he's always like that. But anyway, so anything else about that game, or any stats, or you haven't had time to look at stats, or
no, I didn't. I've had
pretty even. Was it even game? Or
yeah. I'd say it was a good free-flowing game, mate. If anything,
both halves free flowing, or was it just one of the halves?
It was the first half was a lot more. There was a lot more attacking play from both, but yeah, it was again, it's a good game. Without looking at the stats, it was a really good game. You know what I'm like on stats. I like looking at stats, but I never got time to do it. But yeah,
who was your man of the match?
Personally, for me, do you know what? I don't know, mate. I don't look at that because 9 times out of 10, the person who I think's done well gets subbed. They normally go, there you go. You know, Saka scored his goal, Salah scored his goal. At the end of the day, everyone was doing their job. There was no standout players for me, I don't think. You know.
Right. Okay. Cool. Well, Bournemouth versus Aston Villa was a pretty core game.
Yeah.
We had the goalkeepers were playing a big part, but the biggest part of all was this guy here.
Okay.
Travers. I've got some of his
Where did you get that from?
Signed goalkeeper's gloves.
Where did you get them
Mark
from?
Travers. Oh, I've had this for a while. These are match worn and signed.
I can see their match wall, mate. I have goalkeeper's gloves, and my brother was a goalkeeper, wasn't he?
I tried putting these on. I tried putting these on earlier, and I couldn't get them off. It was so hard. It was obviously, it's been through the washing machine.
Was it because you were just saving the ball all the time? It was just hard to take off. You were getting your youngest to start taking shots at you in the front room.
My hand was getting redder and redder. I couldn't get the thing off, and the blood.
Has he got small hands?
He must do, because this is signed by him, right? Yeah. And this is obviously he's a Republic of Ireland international. So
but saying that though, mate, I remember a mate of mine won a shirt at an auction for Dean Saunders, I think it was. I was actually with him. All right, for Villa, a Villa shirt, signed shirt. It was worn at the. What did they say? It was worn at I think they won the cup that year. It was either the FA or the Milk Cup, whatever. So Colin bid, won. I even put the shirt on. Colin, Chris, everyone put the shirt on, signed everything. And then when I rewatched the game, I was like, that's not the shirt. That hasn't got badges on. Yeah. And I was like,
How much did the shirt go for in the auction?
4,000. This is 95, 96, or it went for 4,000. No, I'm joking. No, it was in the hundreds. It wouldn't have been too much, but it was. I reckon it's probably about 200 to 400. I can't remember. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, these things go for quite a lot of money sometimes.
I could see the gloves being worn.
Oh yeah. No, it's. I don't really know what to do with them, but anyway, I'll
frame them.
Probably auction. Nah. Then you've got to frame it. Then you've got to, you spend money on that, and then it's just in the way. So I might put them on eBay or something. So he was pretty much the man of the match, Mark Travers, because he made some amazing saves.
Did he?
And I think one of the first magical save is where at close range, Onana, I think it was headed it, and he had the touch, and he deftly touched it just enough so it would go out for a corner, because if he touched it with too much force, it would have gone into the path of a Villa player and they would have smashed it in the back of the net. and if he hadn't touched it enough, it would have gone into the back of the net. So it was amazing. That was on the 22nd minute, and then you talk about the ball going out and VAR getting involved. Well, Villa had a goal scored by McKinn, but that ball went totally out of the line. That's how sometimes the ball's out, but the middle section is just touching the line. That's still classed as in. The ball, luckily, it was flagged by some of the defence and Mark Travers. The ball was out. Thank goodness for that. And then but it was pretty much all one-way traffic except for Clivert shot from outside the box, which was quite it was a bit of a screamer, and Emi Martinez managed to save that shot. And then second half was more shots and from close range and long range from some of the Villa players and stuff. And again, Mark Travers must have made at least 6 or 7 shot saves, massive saves. But the resistance was broken on the 75th minute. Ross Barkley, it was a bit of a scrappy thing in the 6-yard box, and Ross Barkley managed to just slide. He slipped. It looked like he slipped and almost fouled one of the Bournemouth defenders, but in slipping, he actually got the touch of the ball first and scored the goal. So that was 1-0. He did just come on as a substitute. And then, of course, at the very end was that a free kick from outside the box from Tavernier, and Evan Nelson managed to get the ball in. I hit my glasses there. So that was 1-1, and Evan Nelson came on as a sub as well. So the substitutes made their mark on the game, and and that was it. Guess how many yellow cards there were?
I'm going to say 7.
One short of the record. There were 13 yellow cards.
How?
That was It wasn't a dirty game. It wasn't a dirty game at all. It was basically.
Who was the referee?
Not Oliver. It would have been someone else.
Well, Man City's not involved, so it doesn't matter.
Oops. Yeah. 13 yellow cards. And of course, the record was Bournemouth versus Chelsea with 14 yellow cards.
Yeah.
So
that's
I don't
ridiculous.
understand that. Yeah, maybe the Bournemouth players are really good, and the Villa players had to keep fouling them, but it was pretty even. I think 7-6 or something like that. So 7 to Villa and 6 to Bournemouth. So it wasn't. Yeah, that was even. Possession slightly more for Villa than Bournemouth, but I think a point apiece was good enough for Bournemouth.
Yeah,
probably Villa fans might disagree, but I mean the man certainly was Travers. And then Auckland got their second win. Second win on the trot. Second clean sheet on the trot. It's 1-0 to Auckland. So the funny thing is that I put a tweet out because Bournemouth had scored their goal in the 96th minute.
Yeah.
And then I put a tweet out saying Auckland FC hold my beer because they scored in the 97th minute.
Okay. Oh yeah. You said that, didn't you?
Yeah. So that was Perico was the player that scored. So yeah, that seemed like an even game, but they just had the edge at the end. Again, Sydney FC.
You watched it?
I watched the highlights. Just try to find the time, between work and traveling. And then we had two matches.
Sorry, this is a terrible podcast. Did you watch the games? No. Do you remember? That was me.
Just making it up. No.
Do you remember? Yeah, they didn't really win 1-0. They lost 4-3, right? No one's going to know, right? Do you remember like the ones the Bournemouth Sydney supporters group that we did, like the during COVID, and it was like everyone was like, "Yeah, did you watch the match? Did you watch the match?" And I'm like, "No." Yeah, sorry.
So we're in Scotland now. We're just
Hey, actually, Nick, what's this like with the light? Does it look bad on the camera?
Oh, don't worry about the camera. The
Are
camera's
you
not
sure?
going
No,
to
I think we need to
just.
mate,
I think
wait
you
there.
should
Hold
just
on.
put
I
some
think we
black
need to
paint
sort
and just.
something out a second, mate. Wait there. Hold on.
No.
Right. Okay, carry on, mate. Carry on.
Yay! Where'd you get that from?
Ma Justice. She sent it over in a parcel for Chloe, and then she sent this for me. And I'm going to be honest with you, as much as I absolutely love it, right?
Yeah. So, what? Doesn't it fit? Oh, well, tuck your ears in.
How can you tuck?
Well, that's what you've got your headphones for.
So,
You're looking for shorts, aren't you? You're looking for shorts.
Literally, if anything, if I'm ever going to wear a baseball cap, and look, then I'm probably, if I'm going to go out in the sun, I'm going to get like a D of a suntan.
Oh, just like Ronaldo. Ronaldo went in the 2002 World Cup. He had a lot of little D in the head. Yeah. All right, so yeah, Hibernians. They had the derby, the Edinburgh Derby, and they were leading, and towards the end, Hearts equalised. So that's Hibs have had lots of points missed from winning positions, last minute equalisers, and then midweek there was a game between Ross County and Hibernian, and to be honest, that was quite a uneventful game. It was 0-0, very few chances, maybe the odd shot here and there. And I think Hibs should have won that one. I think they had a few more chances than Ross County, but look, with that, those 2 points, especially the last one against Ross County, they move above the bottom of the table, and Hearts again bottom. But yeah, it's not looking good. They're not playing well. They're not putting away the chances, scoring from the chances and stuff like that. So yes, that's all I have to say.
Is there any talk on the town of what's going on? Does anyone?
I think the main talk is that the signings haven't been great, and it's no point sacking the manager, even though David Gray is a relatively inexperienced manager. He is a club legend, but what's sacking a manager going to do? Because obviously it all costs money. You know, they sign contracts, and if you sack a manager, then you're going to have to pay out the contract. So yes, it just comes down to the signings. So I think this season is going to be a tough season. It's been tough already.
Wow.
And so yeah, we'll just see what happens. But it's not looking good. I don't know. They've made a number of signings this year. Before, at the beginning of the season, I just haven't gelled. They've got some quality, but yeah, extra training sessions, I say. Double training sessions. I would do that. Yeah, absolutely. I'll be unpopular with the players, and then of course if the manager gets too unpopular with the players, and the players play extra bad, so the manager gets sacked.
Like Man United.
That's how it works. Yeah, well, it's taken a while for him to get sacked, isn't it?
Yeah. Especially, I think I spoke to you in the week about the amount of money that they signed, amount of players they signed. Yeah, it's ridiculous, the players that they brought in, and it's gone nowhere. And you just go, but like with Hibs, something's got to give.
Yeah, well, it normally is the manager. Normally it is cheaper to sack the manager, depending on how much that person earns. But anyway, we have our match day 10 prediction. Here we go. Look at this. So
look at that, the technology these days.
I've just had a little bit of time to play around on this program, on this thing. So so what do you reckon? Newcastle versus Arsenal at 12:30 kickoff on Saturday. It's the early one.
Looking at how they played, I would say Arsenal would win that.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm putting the 2 for you. I reckon that's going to be a draw. And all right, so we have Bournemouth versus Manchester City. Now, I know we say this about Manchester City every time. You reckon Bournemouth?
Carry on, Nick. Carry on.
Carry on. Bournemouth versus Manchester City.
Okay. Look.
Manchester City apparently are down to 13 players.
Yeah, one of them's the referee. The other two are the linesmen.
Yes. I'm actually going to go a home win for Bournemouth. For the first time ever. It's time that Bournemouth beat Man City, and Man City are not firing on all cylinders, and they apparently have 13 players. And hopefully with Super
What does
Mark
that mean, though?
Travers
They've
goal,
got 13
maybe?
players. Yeah. What does it mean they've got 13 players?
Yeah, well, they've only got 13 players available from their squad. That makes no sense, but they've had lots of injuries during the cup.
Oh.
The cup, midweek cups and stuff like that. And Rodri's out and stuff like that. Yeah, you're meant to have a squad of 25. So I find it quite hard to believe that out of 25, 12 players are unavailable. And they've only got 13. So something's going on. But yeah, I'm putting a 1 down. What do you reckon?
I'm actually looking at my picture right now, right? Have you ever seen, there was a Stephen King's film, right? It's like The Dreamcatcher or something. And there was a lad who had special powers and he was like disabled. And my face looks like that with this cap on.
Right.
you don't know how to react.
Does that mean the Manchester City win?
I reckon it's going to be a draw. I'm just looking at my face. I'm like going, I'll try and share a picture. I reckon it's going to be, a draw. Draw.
All right, putting down a draw. Ipswich versus Leicester.
I
know,
mate.
You're going to say a Leicester win, aren't you?
Yeah, go on. I'm going to go for Leicester win. Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
I'm going to go for a draw.
So I thought that.
Well, I tried to influence your result so I could put a draw in. Liverpool versus Brighton Hove Albion.
I'm going to go Liverpool on that one, mate.
Liverpool, yeah, I think so. Same here. Glenn versus West Ham.
Christ, he's got an uphill battle, just one of him.
Glenn, actually, it was Nottingham Forest versus West Ham.
Yeah, I'd say it's going to be Forest. Forest win.
I am going to say West Ham win.
What?
Yes. West Ham away.
You right?
Southampton versus Everton.
Hello, is that Glenn? I can't even put my ear to my phone. He's gone against you again. Right, go on, mate. Sorry, what was that one?
Southampton versus Everton. The Toffees versus the Aints.
I reckon it's going to be a Southampton loss.
All right, so I'm putting 2 for you, and I'm putting a 2 for me as well. Southampton lose at home. Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Crystal Palace.
Oh, mate, it's got to be Palace, surely. Win.
You reckon?
Palace win. Yeah.
I say Wolverhampton win. Tottenham versus Aston Villa. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, that is an interesting one, mate. You're totally right there. I'd have said a draw. Maybe a Tottenham win, but I'd say a draw. I'm going to go draw.
You're going to go draw. I'm going to say Tottenham win. Manchester United versus Chelsea.
Mate, I'll be shocked if Man U win. But Chelsea.
Playing for a new manager, and they all seem to, I don't know. It's
been known. It's been known a manager to leave, and then suddenly the team start winning.
Yeah. But look, I'm going for a Chelsea win. I'm going for a Chelsea win. You going for Chelsea win?
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
All right. Fulham versus Brentford. London derby of a different type. That to me has got a draw all over it.
Well, it does. I was going to say maybe Fulham, but I'd agree with you for a Fulham. But I'm going Fulham. Fulham win.
You're going Fulham?
Yeah.
All right. That is. Let's have a look. That's all the ones done. We just need now Wellington versus Auckland.
No. We need the scores. Leighton Orient 5, Scunthorpe 3. And this guy, we have second division underneath. We have the second division scores, third division. That's what we need. Wrexham United 4, Didcot 6.
Didcot.
I don't know. It was always some like Vauxhall Conference team, called some weird name. Kidderminster Harriers. Yeah. Kidderminster Harriers. God, that sounds like a speedway team. Kidderminster Harriers 4, Bournemouth 6.
Bournemouth 6. All right, I'm going to add this. How about that?
That's good, mate. I like that.
Because we always forget, so I put the banner on there. Like, comment, and subscribe.
I like that.
All right, so yeah, we've got the Kiwi Classico. Wellington at home versus Auckland. Auckland are on 6 points, Wellington on 4. I am going to actually go for a draw. I think it's going to be like a 2-2 or 3-3 draw.
I've got no idea. I don't know, mate. I don't know. Go on, you make one up for me. You know how much I follow that league.
I put a 3. I refuse to do that because then if I get it right for you and I get mine wrong, then go on,
win.
Choose one.
Wellington.
Wellington win.
I don't know. Okay. I don't know.
Hibernian. I actually went on the Long Bangers podcast, not on the Ask Guest, but I just put in my prediction, and I predicted for Hibs versus Dundee United. This is on Sunday. I put a 3-0 prediction for Hibs. I don't know why I did that, but I was just feeling positive. But I put a home win for Hibs versus Dundee United. What do you reckon?
Well, they're
Don't
not
give
doing
me blank
well, so I'd say I don't know. The only teams I know is going to win are Celtic and Rangers. So we'll go Hibs are going to lose because they're doing well at the moment with their streak.
Yeah, not doing well. Yeah. Cool. Well, that's it. I haven't had time to check and how we did last week with the results, but
I'm sure I won.
I'm sure you won. Yes. But no, it's been fun. It's been a good episode. So
cool.
Awesome. All right. I'll see you next week.
Yep.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
The camera's round the wrong way.
I know. Yeah, it's that way. All right. Take care.
Take care, matey. See ya.
See ya. Bye.